Rob, two reasons are probably most given for why it might be cheap at the moment. The first one is the question of succession planning and Todd and Ted taking over from Warren and Charlie. And then the second one is that in an era of high-flying growth stocks, especially the tech sector, Warren hasn't invested in a lot of those companies outside of Apple, obviously. How do you think about those two questions?
Yeah, look, I think that the underperformance is, it's moderate over the last 10 to 15 years. It's not significant. But if you look at Berkshire, it usually does better in weaker markets. We're just not in a weaker market. So if the market went down 30 to 50% over the next 3 to 5 years, I would suspect that Berkshire does materially better, and the returns in 5 years' time would probably be normalised to the point where maybe Berkshire's actually outperformed the S&P over that period of time. So it depends on where you are in the cycle, where you look at Berkshire. If you're looking at the top of the cycle, it's probably going to underperform. If you look at the bottom of the cycle, I think that the very instructive period is the dot-com bubble. And if you look at March 2000, possibly the worst time to buy stocks in history apart from today, the Nasdaq went down 78%, the S&P went down 43% over nearly 3 years, and in that same time period, Berkshire Hathaway went up 66% when the Nasdaq went down 78%. So yeah, you can quote statistics at certain time periods, but it depends on when you're quoting them.
Well, Rob, we could talk Berkshire all day, but unfortunately we don't have the time. So let's move to the second stock on your watch list, which is one that I'm sure everyone in the Equity Mates community has heard of and has used, and that is Alphabet. So briefly, why do you like the company and why is it on your watch list?
So Alphabet, it's one of the best companies in the world once again. And I like to do the simple things right. So Berkshire and Alphabet are the simple things. But Alphabet is more than just Google. It's Android, which is outside of the US and Australia and the Western world. It's just the most dominant phone system by a very large margin. About 80% of all phones are Android phones. So it's Android, it's Google Maps, it's Gmail, it's and the big one, the big two which are growing right now are YouTube, which grew at 83% year on year, which is just a spectacular growth from their revenues, and Google Cloud, which is the sort of third major player in the infrastructure cloud department. People just establishing their entire businesses on these systems. So very, very sticky revenues there. So it's a very diversified business. It's a fantastic business.